Right, so what a performance to get this thing to start recording. I'll tell you, it's been a testy week, guys and girls. I'm here with Mum.
Good evening.
Poor old Mum's had a week of me. Hang on.
Hang on.
Hang on. Oh, God, dear. We had to have a laugh this week. Mum had a new top on and managed to shoot half a glass of white wine. At least it wasn't red all over her top.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's despite 3 days of intensive aviation activity, which you may have seen in the video I posted on the Sky's Their Limit. So we've got a load of files here, and Mum will explain the last 3 days, won't you?
Wow. Nightmare as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
You as well.
Yeah. Now
horrendous. Absolutely horrendous.
We were thinking the other day, or I was the other day, about some of the things that people say. And Matt from Quantum came up with a great idea again, not an idea, but about this falling for the trick. And I said, I'm allowing these bods to get to me,
They do.
Which they do, yeah. Right. I want to start chopping heads off. Right, I really do. And I know, like I said, you shouldn't think that way. And then I thought to myself, well, I'm allowing these cretins to get to me. But after 3 or 4 days of it, especially when you're working outside, it's kind of difficult not to, really, I suppose, in a way. But anyway, a few days ago, it started, didn't it, again?
Yeah.
And, well,
from the minute we got up, wasn't it?
Yeah.
7 o'clock in the morning. All day.
Yeah.
All around.
Yeah. Aviation activity. So we decided to do a couple of things about it. So we went out, me and Mum went out in the car, and we found a couple of airline pilots, right? And we kidnapped them, and they're locked in the basement at the moment.
You wish.
And one of them's had 9-inch rusty nails driven through his feet, just like in Taken with Liam Neeson. Right. Anyway,
dear.
But no, what we decided to do is we're going to look at a few things that have come up. One's the old surge report, which we left a little bit late last time, but I thought this was a pretty what's the word? A relevant picture to use in this what we're going to look at, right? So there's the old rappers there. Public Enemy. So, as I've said before, my opinion of certain said characters. Now, whether this is the trick, whatever it is that in my opinion they are Public Enemy number 1. Now, well, they're number 1, 2, 3, and 4, whatever which way you want to look at it. I love the guy's got the clock around his neck. I'm surprised it hasn't got 11:33 on it. I was almost wanted to Photoshop it out, But anyway, I brought that up. I thought that was quite funny because it goes with this subject, with this sujet. So we will let's get rid of. There you go. Get rid of them, right? So we'll go over here, and we're gonna do now. This is as you can. Oh, it's just going to reload. So give it a chance. This is the planes flying over Europe, or this part of Europe. Of course, it's not going to load now. Here it comes. Right now, apparently, on a Saturday, middle of April, and a lot of people will look at these things and go, well, yeah, but when you zoom in, it's not really that many and all this kind of stuff. And you go, all right, then I'll give you that. But we just wanted to look at this. So this morning, we zoomed in on this at 7 o'clock, And it's 7 o'clock in the morning. It looks just like this, right? So the question was, are there really all these bods flying about? So you've got, I don't know what some of these are, BTI, MAU, get a few of the old Ryanairs in here and so on. So as we said, or I said in my message the other day, you're looking at tens of thousands of people who apparently all have enough money and enough time to be flying about in sort of peak and off-peak times, obviously, right? So apparently there's all these people going on holiday. So when you look at some of the statistics of what the bulk of travel is, it mainly holiday or work-related. So if you think about it again, and you just think 10 of your friends, and are they constantly going on holiday? And the answer, of course, is no, they're not, right? Seems to me that only students seem to be constantly going on holiday, despite the fact that they owe tens of thousands of dollars, pounds, euros to various criminal organisations who dupe them into believing they're going to get a good job out of it at the end, right? But anyway, I thought that was interesting, like I said, to look and...
this isn't as bad as what we looked at earlier in the morning.
No, I've got the pictures.
I mean, that was
I've got the pictures from earlier in the
what
morning.
we saw earlier on. But yesterday was the same, wasn't it?
Yeah, 3
All
days.
day.
3 days in a row. Today, yesterday, Friday, and Thursday. And I get quite frustrated, as people know, because we live in the country and we live on a farm. And I find it very hard to believe that the locals don't look up and go, what the is going on here? So our farmer, Jean, one of the coolest blokes I know, in his 70s, I pointed up at the sky and I said to him, c'est pas bon, basically, what's... And he gestured with the shotgun motion as basically to shoot them. And I was like, well, he actually does see what most of us see. And the funny thing as well with Jean is he works at the Mary. He's part of the group here, but he's been here all his life. His dad ran the farm here, and his son is going to probably take over in the end if there's anything left. So anyway, but it was the last few days, I would say, have been very, very frustrating because we've never seen anything quite like this, have we?
No.
Right?
No, I think it's the worst it's been.
The worst it's been, right? So I decided I was going to email a few people and tell them what I think. And I actually got a response from easyJet, which I shall read to you shortly, because it's quite funny. Anyway. So as you can see here where it says BVE, that's breathe. So we live just about round here. Okay, and when you look at this here, this is just beyond obscene. Right, so we're trying to remember exactly the list of things that we wanted to look at, right? So if you guys remember the other day, or a little while ago, we spoke about the climatechance.org. Now, before we go into this, I was going to say that some people probably think they're going on about the same old crap again. And I know I made a video saying enough's enough, that's it, we're not going to do it anymore. They were a good band actually, Enough's Enough. But they just keep dangling this carrot. And when you look at things like we watch, like the old world history stuff and Chris's channel and everything, it's the same subject. It's just new information or updates and so on. So, we were saying that with the old Convid and various other things that have all been on the television, I guess in a way you can see, can't you, how people fall for it, and it becomes like a major thing.
Yeah.
But in your honest opinion, Mum, what do most people go on holiday for?
for the sunshine,
Yeah.
for something totally different to where they've
Yeah.
been, for
For the
escape
sun,
to the countryside,
for the sun, relaxation, the sun.
Relaxation.
Primarily the sun.
Quietness, perhaps.
Yeah, the sun.
Tranquility.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
So I started looking at some of these airlines, these airline sites, and sort of asking the question, what is your prime objective? And they all sort of say the same thing. And of course, old Sleazy Jet, they've even got easyJet holidays, right? We can book holidays. All this place in the sun and all this kind of stuff. So I thought, well, I'll ask easyJet what their opinion is about their planes, along with all the others, pumping all this shit into the sky. So I'll read it to you in a minute. But before that, I got onto this climate chance. Give the climate a chance. Now, people who deny the climate change thing, right? Well, the thing is, the climate is changing, but they're changing it, right? They're creating this shit, right? Not us.
Nor the cows.
Nor the cows.
Poor bloody cows.
Or a few plastic bags or whatever. All these things add to problems, we know. But these clowns they're the ones that are creating these weather patterns and everything. It's so obvious. I love the fact that it's got spinning ball search written up here. Anyway, so this site here is actually a French site. So this is what I wrote to them. This is this climate chance. And the reason I wrote to them was simply for the fact that they seem to be jetting around all over the world, all over the realm, going to these meetings, but they never seem to address the amount of planes in the air.
No, what's going on up there?
What's going on up there, right? Okay, so anyway, this is what I said, and you can read it for yourself. It goes, what is your opinion on the masses of commercial and military planes that are filling the skies with non-stop white lines pumped out the back? Question mark. Please do not try and humour me by saying, this is vapour, sir, when a simple search tells you the organisations that are messing with the weather. I find it, as do many people here, which is actually not very many because they're all daft, this is totally unacceptable and we are sure this should be addressed. We do not consent to this in any way and find it odd that this issue seems to be avoided by this site and with most CC change sites. The climate is indeed changing and they are the ones doing it and not for the right reasons. Thank you and enjoy your flights to Cyprus. Because apparently the climate chance people are all jetting off in May to Cyprus for a nice sunny few days with the EU to have a meeting about what is going on, right? Okay, so also adding to the so-called BS carbon emissions, along with the EU Parliament and, of course, the United Nations. And yet the people that apparently run these sort of sites, these, get informed, get insights, get involved about us and all this, the people that are causing all this, they're having meetings with as if they're best buds. So they're all off, again, as far as I'm concerned, to one of these eyes wide shut, blow each other parties, where they're pumping more shit into the air, right? And then turning around and blaming the regular public, saying it's our fault, right? So as we said, when we looked at the statistics of planes, and what does an Airbus, whatever, and that carry, and you're talking about anything from 186 seats, why 86, I don't know, 186 to 235 seats, and you clock 200 planes in an hour going over the top of your house, you know that there is no way that those planes are full of people. Right? It's not possible. Anyway, if we go back, let's just get out of this little thing here. We just go back to these clowns, right? And I'm sure there's a lot of people involved in this who are genuine, right? So look, we got climate. I might have done this one before, but climate chance mobilising and bring together local actors to strengthen action. Well, how the fucking hell do local actors strengthen any action when none of these clowns are prepared to listen to what the general public is saying? Right?
Yeah.
So if we go down here, right, again, look, you got, see, analysing it, see, you got the old all-seeing little eye there, of course you have to have all this, don't you? All events. So this is where I thought, well, this is quite funny. Excuse me, we're coughing and spluttering here, and we're going to explain to you why in a minute. We've got the old COVID. No, I'm just kidding. The 5th forum of the EU mission on adaptation to climate, you know what, right? And now this is the thing that is taking place in Cyprus. So what they're telling you is here, what these bods are telling you, is that they're not really there to change anything. What they're there for is to get you to adapt to their way of thinking. Well, what if we don't want to adapt to your way of thinking? It's like the plastic people. All these bods ranting and raving about plastic, right? 90% of everything that you use has got plastic in it, right? Now, we know that there is certain types of plastic, little stupid little things that, you know, you don't need these little clips that go on things that you have to cut off to get in, and silly little wraps around biscuits and shit like that, right? We agree with all that, but these bods ranting and raving about plastics, right? The thing is, with everything has plastic in it, or it has a use for plastic, right?
Yeah.
Okay? So that's just something that you've got to get on with, right? But these people that maintain, like with this, about, you know, they've got all this shit in the air, these planes and everything, yet they go on a plane and go on holiday. Mm-hmm. So there you go, it's all the double standard shot again. Anyway, so these EU missions, the EU mission, so look, we've got a little thermometer there, little globe there, little ball Earth, European, right, just reinitialising the whole idealism that the world is all this bollocks and so on and so forth, right? Drives you up the wall. But they're all pissing off to Cyprus. And look, it's for one day. One
day
only.
only.
One day only. So anyway, let's see what these clowns come back to us with. But this is resilience strategy. I looked through this site, I can't find anything to do with aircraft in it, and I looked on a bunch of other sites as well doing the same crap, and I couldn't find that. Now, before we get too carried away, I do want to get into, and I forgot before, the surge report. And we have to go here, because we have to look at these. Now this is all coming to an end. These clowns, right, in this picture are 4 lying scumbags. Okay, that's the only way you can put a name on these clowns, right? Lying scumbags, right? So I just wanted to show you a few pictures. This is a little while ago now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 little balls on the top here, right? And this looks sort of gunmetal grey silver, right? Okay. So there you go. That was an official BBC picture. Now these were some that Serge sent me, which are quite obviously CGI'd, because you can tell that these are a lot further away, the old parachutes, than this one here. But the funny thing about this is a lot of these people that look at this actually think this is real. Right? They think these are real splashdown pictures, and we did a thing about that the other day, I know. But these pictures here, you know, I think we pulled this one up the other day. Let's get rid of this old Neil's Garden. This is where he's filming the old planes again. But we wanted to come down here to this. Now, I used this the other day as an example. So this fucking loser, right? I don't care whether you're 6'2" or not, mate. Shame on you. This was a picture that came up, again, on an official site, I can't remember whether it was CNN or one of the others, right? Ooh. And we were talking about the cubic capacity, weren't we, of the inside? Now, we did that on our last one, didn't we?
We did, yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, right. So this bloke here is standing next to what looks like a rather small pod. And you notice the old E.T., Johnny Five, little eyes here. Do you really think that if this was real, this wouldn't be straight? It wouldn't be in line with this line here. This is cockeyed, right? So this clown is leaning here, he's pointing at it like he's hooked up with some celebrity, like, look at me with this, right? And you can see he's not there. He's been photoshopped in. Once again, we've got a little purple light, and all purpled out here. In this situation here, why would you still have the balls on the top inflated, right? Yeah. And look at the state of it, right? Look at this. It's all sort of looks, got this patinaed look and everything, like utter rubbish. But again, people suck this shit up like a sponge. They think it's real. And then old Serge sent me this, and we thought this was great because, once again, what is this deal with the colour purple at the moment? Now, again, I'm sorry if we repeat ourselves here, but why has this got a purple bit in the middle? You can see this is not real. This is absolutely ridiculously stupid, right? And it says here, it goes, never seen before in all the millions of years. So we're now gone to millions of years, right? But now with the new equipment, it's easier to see it. No one has ever seen, been to the, nobody has ever, easier to see it. And as no one have been to the moon since, anyway, whatever, right? Bad writing there from whoever, right? So, you know, quite obviously this is just ridiculous, right? But as old Serge said, and he's had a few online little discussions with people who just will not, they can't see what is right in front of them. So anyway, he sent me this one today, which I just thought was funny. The universe is putting a show on just for you. And Paul Meredith, good for you, mate. That's about the 5th one of these stage props I've seen, and they're all different. So as you can see, this one here is a completely different colour to the last one we saw, right? Okay. And then, like we said with these here, these are more, of course, these are your little slightly more fuzzed out pictures, so you can't really see what's going on. I mean, this one almost looks like it's only got 3 balls on it. Maybe the other ones are hidden behind here or whatever. It's just bobbing around. More shots from splashdown. But what I thought was funny was this one here. Somebody actually thinks this is real, right? They should say arse Technica, not, right? Well, it does, doesn't it? Arse, right? So look at this thing here. They don't look anything like that thing that we've been looking at. And you can see these clowns have been photoshopped in. The lines are missing. There's no shadows, whatever. Now, the point of bringing these up again isn't because we say, well, look, they're staging this. It's so obvious. Is the fact that websites, forums and chats are using this sort of stuff. And they are maintaining that all this is real. Yeah. So they're just as bad, right?
Oh, of course
they're just as bad. Yeah. But we thought that was quite funny. I think a lot of things are quite funny, especially at the end of the day when I've had a glass of wine. And then we thought this was good. Once again, what is going on with this shite, right? So, Space Voyager, 15th of April, breaking, 2026 breaking news, right? So you got lavender, which is purple. Right, and then you got the sky, which looks purple, and then this is supposed to be Saturn in the background, right? And old Serge goes, you see the people who are writing, oh, what a beautiful picture, how wonderful to see the moon. And I know we're not really supposed to be here to criticise, but it's very, very difficult not to do that. Anyway, going back to the plane shenanigans, old Serge sent me this. BBC News 8 hours ago, this was a couple of days ago. The head of the International Energy Agency told AP there could soon be flight cancellations if supplies remained blocked. Europe has maybe 6 weeks of jet fuel left. Energy boss warns. Well, thank fuck for that. Thank fuck for that.
We might have quiet
We
skies
might have
for
a few
while.
days without these bellends flying about in their flying pricks.
Drive
And I'm
nuts.
looking out, look at it out there now, Mum. It is whited out.
It's whited out completely.
Right, and of course we got to have this stupid little person with their bag, right? Little orange plane, I'm surprised that's not purple. And of course it's a Getty image, right? Half these planes, if you look into it, they don't fly on fuel anyway, because there's no way that you could, you can probably see this down here, guys. Old Sergi Sky this morning. There is no way that you could keep these planes up in the air with the amount of fuel that they can actually carry. So that's another load of old bogus nonsense. I don't know whether there's anything else in this lot that he sent me that I think we've missed. I think that was it. This was from the other day, wasn't it? Yeah, just basically these pricks everywhere you look. So let's get rid of that. Au revoir Telegram. Now, on that note about fuel, and of course the whole thing that is the to do with the problem that we're having with the fuel, and all this is all to do with this certain country. So I looked the other day and I said, well, if they keep maintaining that certain countries are so bad, why are these countries allowed to remain part of these giant organisations?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So
we looked into it, and
well, obviously it's so easy to find, isn't it? Of course. So a certain country, apparently, where there's all this stuff going on, which of course isn't the yellow and blue, because they've been forgotten about for a little while.
They've taken a back seat.
They've taken a back seat, right? So screw them for a couple of weeks. So this has all been about this particular country, as you can see. And again, old Sergi goes, they're having these embargoes, they're going to freeze this, they're going to freeze that. Apparently, millions of people there are going to lose their jobs and all this kind of crap, right, which has been going on forever. So the question has to be then, why, if this country is so bad and is not part of the club, why are they still part of the United Nations then?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Yeah.
It's because
they're all in it together.
Because they're all in it together, right?
The Big Five.
The Big Five. So
the
now,
Big Five.
the Big Five. Well, we're going to go to the Big Five in a minute. Now, you've got your problems out in the Arab states. You've got all this stuff going on, and then of course in that thing that I pulled up about the climate chance people, they're off to see the UN. So, of course, the other countries that aren't particularly, or don't particularly get the thumbs up, are China, which I don't have a problem with, especially that 99.9% of everything that we ever get comes from there.
Comes from there.
And a certain country that is supposed to be in a conflict with the yellow and blue. If that is the case, people, don't you think that they would be removed or frozen or whatever?
Yes,
So
suspended.
the 5 permanent members of the UN, right, the United Nonsense Organisation, are China, France, Russian Federation, United Kingdom and the United States, right? How is it possible then, if these are such, the evildoers at the moment, that they're even allowed to be part of this thing?
Yeah.
Right? Well, it's obvious. We know why. So then you type in, what is the purpose of the UN? And it's just comedy, right? To maintain international peace and security, protect human rights, deliver humanitarian aid, support sustainable development and climate action. Well, you fucking morons, you don't contribute to any of this because you cause all of this. So there you go. There's 3 hypocritical statements on 3 pages that are easy to find. So if you find yourself in an argument with anybody where they're telling you that you've got something wrong with you because you've done some research, we've got a degree in this shit now after all these years.
Yeah.
haven't we?
Yeah.
When you think about it. So anyway, so I just thought that was worth bringing up because again, it's a useful thing to look into. So we looked into all this CO2 crap and all this kind of stuff and so on. So again, going back to the Artemis, in one statement, them and not this Reddit forum, Trevor Swift. In this one statement, they're saying that the Artemis did not create any CO2 emissions, and in other statements they say yes they did, right?
Right.
But apparently this thing was able to get off the ground. Now think about this, with 700,000 gallons of fuel on board. I think that's rather. Yeah, 700,000 gallons of fuel on board. I find that very hard to believe because we know it never took off in the first place, but there you go. So I thought that was interesting because, again, this is okay, but your old car isn't. Now, I was looking again at, we decided to have a little look. Where are we? Sorry, guys, we've got so many of these bloody things open. I wanted to look again to see what the extent of flight shite in the air is recognised as, by these so-called associations and that. And it says here, so when old Billy Girl Gates and all these tranny criminals are all telling you that I'm going to suck the CO2 out of the air, we know the only thing he's sucking, don't we? Right, it says here, flying is one of the most carbon-intensive activities, yet it contributes to just 2.5% of the world's carbon emissions. That is not possible, right? How can that be possible?
How can it be?
Right? It can't.
Doesn't make sense.
So anyway, but that was just interesting because they're telling you that these planes are, and of course, and what's quite funny in this thing here, which is called Our World in Data, they have to run the old convid shit in here, and they go on and on about it, right? And this was written, when was this written? Not that long ago. Oh, 2024 that was written, so that was a different one that I saw before. But anyway, so we were looking at all of this, like we said, and I found this because I asked the question, you can't quite see it, but I asked the question, is the military involved in geoengineering, right? Now, on some websites, it tells you that there's no such thing as geoengineering. The BBC tell you, no, this is not what you think it is, blah, 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 and all this crap, right? So anyway, I found this from 2015. Now, this is a question that was put forward, but this is at the European Parliament. Sorry, I'm getting all bunged up now. Must be all this shit in the air. So it says here, questions are written E00, Rule 130, not 133. 4 employees of Spain's meteorological agency have confessed that Spain is being sprayed nationwide by aircraft that are spreading lead dioxide, silver iode, and diatomae through the atmosphere. The objective is to keep rain away and allow temperatures to rise, which creates a summer climate for tourism, which is beneficial to corporations, actual blah, blah, blah. You can read it yourself. I'll put these in the links if I can remember. Anyway, it says here that to do with toxic compounds and that people are concerned. These aircrafts are taking off from San Baba Military Air Force, basically airport. Can the Commission confirm that it has received a report of Spanish meteorologists asking to adopt a position on this matter? What is the Commission's view on this situation? Does the Commission think that there are commercial reasons for these actions by governments? Now, this was a question or something that was put out for people to find, right?
Right. Yeah.
But nevertheless, it's on the European Criminal Parliament's website, right?
We've never heard of it before,
We'd never seen this before. So they're acknowledging Except the fact that they're talking about warming Spain up rather than cooling it down. Well, all right, that was 10 years ago, right?
Well, I went to Spain many, many times and took you to Spain, and it was always warm enough when we went there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course it is. It was always warm enough, right?
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
my point with this is that you can see that these things have been floating around for years. Now, we get into the real nitty-gritty here. So we'll save some of this stuff up. Get rid of my email address here. Now I'm gonna read to you the message from Sleazy Jet, right? So this is what I said to them. Now I'm not a customer of easyJet. I've only ever been on them once, but I thought, I'll just put that as a customer of easyJet airline. I would like to, and it says here, restrict the use of my data, which is what I never typed that in. Please specify your request below, blah, blah, blah. As a customer of easyJet now living in southwest France, we would like to know why we are being bombarded by flights, including yours, that seem hell-bent on blocking out the sun. Whatever is coming out of the back of these planes, and no matter what you consider, push or assure the public it is, our skies are full of lines that congregate together and, as we know, create clouds that then block out the sun. Now, we know that making complaints is futile, but we wish to let you know that we do not consent to this, and if you can't see yourselves, then there must be something seriously wrong. A company that prides itself on travel, especially holidays, whited out skies due to you and others is not a great sales advert for prospective customers, is it? Please do not try to call us. But I suggest that you make an effort to email us with your thoughts. Many people know what is going on, and all involved will be held accountable in the end, right? Okay, so because we know that it's a waste of time emailing these bots, but I was quite surprised that I heard back from this bloke, right? So he goes, anyways, bloke, Safwan, good old British name.
Yeah.
Old Safwan emailed me. And he goes, thank you for getting in touch and letting us know your thoughts. We always appreciate hearing from our customers, blah, blah, blah. At easyJet, keeping our passengers and the communities we fly over safe is always our top priority. The trails you see behind our aircraft are called contrails. These are simply streams of water vapour that form. Right, so this guy, if it's a real guy, is a total retard, right? First class idiot, okay? Contrails are a natural result of flying and are not harmful or intended to block out sunlight. Well, they fucking will do. We know, anyway, we appreciate your feedback. Thank you for getting in touch with us and so on and so forth. So this bloke's spilling the same old yarn, old Safwan, right? Yeah. So I wrote back to him and I just said, Dear Sir, contrails, water vapour or not, our sun is constantly being blocked out. If you can't see this and also understand that geoengineering is going on every day, not a conspiracy, a fact which the UK government, various organisations admit to, then my friend, you are truly blind. The reason to message you in the first place was not when I say that, it was not as said, we do not, it was as said, we do not consent to this in any which way, shape or form. And are sick and tired of constant run of aircraft overhead, I can't fucking read, I've got the wrong glasses on here, which we do not believe are passenger full. And all involved, including those in the media who push fake agendas, scandemics, will pay for their deception and lies in the end. Have a good day, enjoy the sun if you have any, and I hope you've all had your rooster boosters. Kind regards, G. King. Right, it's time, guys, it's time for us to get to regain our sovereignty. Right, at the end of the day, it's time to regain our sovereignty. Now, few other things here. France at the heart of world polar research. So in 2025, less than a year ago, the aim to remove CO2 from the atmosphere, for example, by increasing the ocean's rate of carbon absorption through carbon dioxide removal. So you can see, every which way you look at it, these clowns are up to something, right? There's no argument anymore. Storing carbon in the ocean, right? This is a giant, as we've said before, extinction plan, right? Okay, so I then decided, I keep bringing this mask thingy up because I wanted to show you guys this because this appeared in YouTube and you've probably seen this as well. I thought this was hilarious, but maybe they're onto something. Maybe it is time that we all started getting gimp masked up. You know, we could go on this forever, right? These are all the chemtrail sites, the contrail sites, whatever you want to call them, right? There's loads of them. Chemtrail, right? It goes on and on and on. Resistance against geoengineering. Well, again, when you look through this site, it's all kumbaya. It's all a bunch of people standing on the beach with little flags waving like here, right? It's a load of old bollocks, right? You are never going to achieve... Look, this fucking page won't even open, so we won't bore you with that. You are never going to change anything by creating these sites and making these futile efforts, waving little cardboard banners around. Like I said, my suggestion is get a bunch of people together, go down to the, let's just say the Pilots Association Administration Office and stop them from going to work.
Yeah, they're
right?
not hitting the right people.
Never do.
No.
Right?
No.
What do you think of that?
Well, I think that's right. It's never the right people, is it? It's always the middleman, us trying to get to work, people, farmers, and turning signs over. What good did that do?
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing
So you know, you guys know we live on farms. It's all farm here, and the farmers have been pissed off. So what they did was they went out and pissed the public off. Brilliant idea. They turned the signs upside down here. Brilliant idea. What do you think that's going to achieve?
And then they put tyres over these speed cameras.
Yeah, that was quite funny.
Didn't they?
They put giant tyres over the speed cameras.
But it doesn't achieve anything, does it? Nobody cares.
No one gives a shit, right? No. So if you really want to make a statement and you're a farmer, you go to the minister.
Hit the right
you go to the Minister of Agriculture's head office and you block that off and you stop that fucker from going to work. Right, and the same with this. If we believe these pilots know what's going on, which they do, they might say they don't. Of course they do.
They've got to know. They've got to see it every time they get up in the air. They've got to see what's going on.
Yeah, they see what's coming out the back of their mate's plane. They go, hang on a minute, I've been doing this 20 years. What the hell is this, right? They know what is going on. So you go down to the administration office of the pilots, find out where they are. I've already found the one in Paris. And you stop them fuckers getting to work. You don't go out...
Make life difficult for them instead of the other way.
Yeah, you don't go to motorways and block traffic and shit like that. That solves no... It's no purpose at all.
No.
And the same with the farmers, like we said. Go to the Minister of Agriculture, find out where he lives, and camp outside his house and drive him up the wall. Right, but nobody will ever do that because then they're stepping over the lines and they're concerned then that they are going to be arrested or something like that. And then what you do is you politely ask the police person, officer, police woman that's manhandling you, whatever you want to call it, and say, what do you think about all this, man? What do you think about all this in the sky? You got kids, right? You think this is a healthy way to live? So anyway, so I typed in are commercial airlines doing the geoengineering? And I came up with a bunch of sites. And you can do it yourself. Just type in, are commercial airlines taking part in geoengineering? So this is from last year again. Geoengineering solution embraces aircraft to cool the earth. It's not your place to be playing God.
No.
Right?
No.
You fuck it up, it's irreversible. And we already know that, right? So anyway, I looked at this and I thought this was quite interesting. So it says jetliners could serve as delivery mechanisms. Well, we already know they're doing that. Don't we, old fiery flower girl down in Somerset, whatever, Dorset, Somerset, one of them, Somerset, down in Somerset. Anyway, we were saying that a bunch of our plants have died. We've got these bugs all over stuff that our buddleias are covered in these black bugs we can't get rid of and so on. And it says here, so this is on the American Society of Mechanical Engineers. So this is not some conspiracy site, such as sulphur dioxide. Right? Now, I'm going to top my glass up. Mum is going to explain to you about her situation with her skin, eyes, nose, throat and face.
Well, yeah.
Go on, Mum. Let them have it.
Well, the last few years, I would say, only this year has been the worst. I have had not a cold. It's nothing like a cold at all, but streaming eyes, or what feels like streaming eyes. Dry throat, very dry throat. You can probably hear it now. And it's connected up to the ears, and a bit of sneezing. I thought it might be allergy to start with, but it's got steadily worse and worse, and a cough. Because of the dryness of the throat, makes me cough. And I have successfully been to see a homeopath who I've been to before and sorted me out last year with my ear problem and is now dealing with this problem. Interestingly, Gary came across this only to find that what this can cause is...
Right, and we'll get into that right now. So as you can see here, it says sulfate aerosols such as sulphur dioxide. Now, we know there's a bunch of pricks out there, and I used the word pricks actually in one of our videos, and some blokes seemed to take offence to it. I think he thought I was calling him a prick. I called it pricks in planes. I thought that, I wanted to call them something else beginning with a C, but I thought that was perhaps a bit too heavy duty for whatever. Anyway, so I know there's people out there going to say, oh yes, but Gary, it's a different sulphur dioxide. Oh yes, Gary, but it's different. It's like, no, it isn't. It is either it or it isn't, right? So anyway, so here's, as you can see, we can do a John Levy and highlight it, such as sulphur dioxide, right? So I thought, right, let's have a little look. Now, here we go. Does geoengineering use sulphur dioxide, right? Stratospheric aerosol injection. You see all these abbreviated names, they're all pricks, right?
Yeah.
Right. The SAI, adding small reflective particles to the upper atmosphere, the stratosphere, to reflect incoming sunlight. Sulphur dioxide, SO2, one of the types of chemicals considered for SAI, can chemically react to stratosphere to form reflective sulfate aerosols. Right? Now, this is on the US Environmental Protection Agency site. This is not on a conspiracy theory site. So when clowns like the mush from easyJet try to bamboozle you by telling you it's water, right? So anyway, so I thought, well, there you go. They're telling you right here what this shit is in this thing. Right now, I've got to tell you, I regard myself at 60 as quite a fit person, right, and I've just spent the last month trying to rebuild our balcony, or not trying, but rebuilding our balcony, and also I've been rehearsing for this show. I'm 5'6" and a bit, not very tall, and I weigh about 65 kilos, right? And I've actually lost quite a bit of weight, really. Not quite a bit, but I've not slimmed up. I haven't lost any weight, but I've tightened right up. Ooh. And I think that's because we laid off the booze during the week for about 2 months. But anyway, okay, I have never ached so much in my life as I have done since about February. And I've always been one of these sort of phlegmy people, you know, right? And sorry about that, but I've always been one of them. And I've had like a not a sore throat, but like as if I've scratched the inside of my throat on my right hand side for about 4 months now. It's just starting to go away. I'm bunged up now, and I have ached my neck, my back, my the bridges of, is the bridge the top part on it? Yeah. Bridges of my feet. And actually playing my kit has relieved some of that, but I have ached. And I thought first it was my bed, which of course it turns out not to be. Now, I don't know what that is, but poor old mum, and of course mum drives me out the wall because she keeps coughing and spluttering.
Threatened to kill me if
Mum said to the bloke, the homeopath, if you don't sort this out for me, my son's going to kill me, right? Because he can't put up with it any longer. And just before we were due to start this, we had a bloody great fly buzzing around in here, and mum started having a coughing fit. So, anyway, her poor old eyes are all sore, you know. So, sitting outside in the sun, or if there is any sun, the brightness, she had to put on a pair of my, I don't ski, but I've got some skiing goggles. I've never ever skied, and I used to wear them on my bike, on my mountain bike, in the winter. And she put those on, and it helped her eyes, right? So anyway, so we thought, right, okay, then let's just say hypothetically, 10% of this shit is real. Now I know you guys out there will say, yeah, we already know about all this gas, and it's like, well, maybe a few other people, you know. See, look here, look at this. This is the CDC, sulphur dioxide, toxic substance portal, right? So they're all telling you about this shit. So then when you come into this and you look into what is good to inhale, is sulphur dioxide a good thing to be inhaling? Inhaling sulphur dioxide causes irritation to the nose, eyes, throat and lungs. Typical symptoms include sore throat, runny nose, burning eyes and a cough.
Exactly.
Inhaling high levels can cause swollen lungs and difficulty breathing. Skin contact with vapour can cause irritation and burns.
Wonderful.
So in one breath, they're telling you, no. And then in the other breath, these fucking geoengineering scientist knobheads, right? And that was another thing we said. All the people that listen to this, how many of you know scientists? One of these pricks in a white coat with a face tampon on, right, that you see with the little protective eyes and protective glasses on there. Nobody knows a scientist, right? Oh, I know a scientist, Gaz. No, you fucking don't. Nobody knows a scientist. We've asked, right? Do you know a scientist? Do you know somebody who's a scientist? No. They're all characters that are used with Getty images to make you believe that behind the scenes they're looking at this shit. But apparently scientists are telling you this shit is bad for you, whilst geoengineerists are telling you they're pumping this shit in the air.
Yeah, great. I mean, look at the state of the car as well. It's eating whatever they're spitting out is eating into the paintwork of the car.
Yeah, we've got an old banger, right? Because we're not one of these people that feel that cars are a status symbol.
Yeah. It's
We
not.
live,
It's not in a garage, but even
yeah,
so, we've never known anything like this, have we?
never known anything like
No,
it in
we
my
haven't.
right.
We
So
haven't.
our old car, it is literally yellow now from whatever is in the air. And we do have a lot of yellow flowers, and we do have a lot of dandelions, and
Yeah, but
people
it's
say,
gone.
but all that's gone. And then you get the clowns who say, oh yes, but you see, it's Sahara sands. It's like, no, it
Yeah.
isn't. How come we're getting Sahara sands, and Toulouse, that's closer to the Sahara, isn't? Well, it's the way that fuck off the way the jet stream works, you fucking idiots. Right. So anyway, the lacquer is being eaten off of our roof, bonnet, the hood, and the back of our car, and we notice some of our friends are as well. Right.
Oh, yeah, it's not just us. Good God.
No. So anyway, so they're telling you in one breath and in the other, and you need to look sulphur dioxide basics. You just got to look into this stuff, guys, and realise. And like we said, the thing is, this is in plain sight, right in front of you. There's no getting away from it, right? And we watched that movie, Don't Look Up, last night, actually, with that horrible cast of horrible individuals, including DiCaprio, that fat fucker, right, who flew into one of these big climate thingy meetings on a private jet a few years ago, and people were all like jumping up and down, and you know, I mean, if you want flying on your own, like, he ain't got a private jet because he hasn't got enough money, right? He's sort of like your mid-class actor, yeah. All right, he was in Titanic, and this odious cast who were playing odious people. You know, Jennifer, Jerry Lawrence, and all that, and what's her bleeding name?
Meryl Streep.
Meryl Marvin Streep, that odious character. But the funny thing about that story, and I don't know whether we're going to call this video Public Enemy or Don't Look Up, but the funny thing about that story was the little things that were in it, a bit like the Truman Show, right? Where they're telling you that the government don't give a shit. That
Well, they obviously didn't.
no, that most of them are actors anyway. You know, old Meryl Streep's supposed to be like some old ex-stripper porn star or something. Had the tramp stamp on the back of her ass, which was hilarious at the end when she gets eaten. Sorry, I won't tell you what happens in case you haven't seen it. But they get their comeuppance, which is what these clowns today are all going to get. But I thought this was quite funny because this kept popping up on YouTube, and then it popped up on another site, didn't it?
Yeah. That was not in the Guardian, wasn't it?
In the Guardian, yeah, the good old Golden Guardian, right? So air weave mask. So anyway, you always have to have these people, right? It's always the same. It's always these dodgy millennial Gen Z tranny looking, couldn't knock the skin off a rice pudding type of characters, right? But then I thought to myself, after seeing all this shit in the air, maybe these bods have got it sussed out. And maybe it's time that we actually started going out in the old face tampon. Because with all the shit that is apparently in the air, I mean, you've only got to look at these bots. I mean, look at this stupid cow here on an aeroplane. He's got good air, this bloke, whatever. Right? Allergy protection, daily commuting, flying and travel. 8 out of 10. And some of this stuff is like $100, right? Okay? So, you know what's quite funny about all this shit as well? The perfect fit. And we've seen all this before, haven't we? But I think what's funny about all this is like, see this girl here, right? With the big old curly hair. When she gets home, do you think she then goes and washes her hair and washes herself from top to bottom? Because she's now covered in particles which she's going to breathe in when she goes to bed. Just like when I'm working outside and don't have a shower and wake up in the morning all itchy. Right? Anyway, apparently it's called Captura Filtration Technology, made in Australia. Made in Melbourne, Australia, right? Where they like you to believe that they're all upside down. Which, of course, is another stupid, ridiculous notion. Sorry, Gina, you're not upside down, mush. Right? You are not upside down. We've always got to have one of these. Look, it's always one of these. Look at this bad attitude. Anyway, what I thought was quite funny, though, is when you come down to the bottom, you read the comments, right? And I'm sorry, girls, I'm not blaming the girls, right? But Vivian, bought two for my partner and I. Wore them on Melbourne to Shanghai flight. More comfortable than other masks, though didn't try with head straps. Still wearing is not a comfort issue, but a health one. Some bloke here, Alison. So you've got, look at this. I'm sorry, girls. You just shoot yourselves in the foot every time. Vivian, Alison, Jean, Catherine, and Martha. Well, where are the blokes then? Right, where are the blokes wearing these masks? Right, so to protect my family. I thought this was funny. Sorry, girls, again. I'm not knocking you girls, but come on, seriously. Love how colour blends with skin tone. Skin Tone. It's named for a band. Got a new band called Skin Tone. We're opening up for the Stones. Right. These masks have to be the gold standard in PPE for the average person. Durable, comfortable fit. I just thought it was funny that they're still pushing the mask crap and antibacterial copper technology. Right. But saying that, and I'm getting a bit excitable here, I know. Saying that, the funny thing about it is that maybe they're onto something. Because I always wear, whenever I'm doing any work outside, it's, like sanding and stuff, which I've been doing at the moment, I wear a face mask. And the shit that collects on it is insane because I don't want to breathe in old dried wood and stuff like that. I'm sanding off. And I'm talking about sanding with a machine, not by hand. And then when you go outside with a flashlight, which everybody should have on them, I have my M2R Warrior flash lamp with me. Go and shine your light up into the sky and have a look and see at night and see what's floating around. You might be quite surprised. Anyway, that was a good chat. Now, the other thing I wanted to bring up just quickly here, and I'm only bringing this up because I thought this was very, very funny. Hang on, come on, open. Here we are. Here we go. Right. I'm hoping this is all going to record properly because it's starting to make a noise. This, like the fan is getting hot or something. It's probably the processor working. Here come the Transformers. Now, old Martin from Flat Earth British, Martin Leakey, whatever you want to call him, he did a pretty heavy duty slam at the celebrity trannies, right? And when Martin's on a roll, he is quite funny. And on these live chats, he is quite to the point. He's actually a very intelligent bloke. And when he does his sort of solo stuff, he makes very good points. But I thought this was funny with this little prick in the middle. And I was saying to Mum that out of all that, like, it's funny, innit? Look, you got old chubby. Look at that guy's suit. Old queer Stalin, right? Look at him. What is he wearing, right? So it's funny, innit? Old queer Stalin and Donald, they've got purple ties on again. And Matt did a thing the other day about this so-called woman who's looking into this, trying to live forever, had purple sunglasses on. So all the magenta thing that's going on. So anyway, so I've got this group here, and I thought it was quite funny that Martin had chosen these guys, because obviously these are all on my hit list as Public Enemy #1, right? And out of all of them, I have to say that old Mr. P next to Queen Charlene is the only one out of that lot that I can tolerate, right? A little prick in the middle needs the living kicked out of him or her or whatever he is, whatever that little turd is, I don't know. An old knobhead at the end there, slightly fuzzed out, who's apparently dating a pop star. Those characters on there, I just thought it was funny that he brought this up. And people were saying after all these years, we can't believe Martin has suddenly approached the subject, the sujet of, are these girls really girls, right? And we've been talking about it for a long time. And if you remember my my chat with Mark, Mr. E. Mark, and how we first got into it, which was to do with Racco Welsh, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, she was, or he was the very first one.
That was the one we first saw that Mark did. But again, the point of bringing this up at the end here was, you know, it's like, what is the mark of the beast, right? You know, you hear of it all the time. Did you accept the mark of the beast? If you accept, you know, whatever. It really doesn't matter. But if you're deceived into doing something by somebody who is not who they pertain to be, so for argument's sake, for all you Swifties out there who went and got your little Saturn tattoo because you're a fan of the Swift, did you accept the mark of the beast? Because the Swift is a giant deceiver with giant manly legs and a giant manly ring finger, a lying scumbag, a terrible singer and performer. Well, actually, a good performer. I've got to say, a good performer. The show is actually a well put together show. But have you been deceived by and accepted the mark of the beast? Is it something like that? I don't know. But for the girls, because it's a little bit more, not controversial with the boys, but I would say that old Zed Zelensky in the middle there, that's a bird. That's an FTM, right? I would say that Donald, old Aunt Deirdre, the Donald probably is one as well. And the reason that you can see these things is when you, again, the ears. So old Zed Zelensky is the prime candidate for an FTM. FTM magazine, go and type in FTM magazine. It's got the very badly stubbled beard, very, very low ears, no brow ridge, right? Okay, no brow ridge, slopey shoulders. Who's got the slopey shoulders, guys? Look, who's got the slopey shoulders? Slopey shoulders, slopey shoulders, slopey shoulders, slopey shoulders. Guys don't have shoulders like that, right? Slopey shoulders. It's only because he's walking that way. She's walking that way. They've all got slopey shoulders, right? So for you girls, do a little experiment with your friends. Look at your ring finger that you put your wedding ring on your left hand. Look at your brow ridges. Look where your belly button is. Look how girls walk. Real girls, right? You've seen now that a lot of girls are adopting this very manly walk, right? Why are they doing that? Because they see these bods doing it and they think that is the way girls are supposed to walk. It's called the gait. Look at that. Look at the ear placement. I've done videos on this before. Men's ears are normally bigger and the tops of their ears are normally in line with their brow ridge, right? Men normally have horizontal shoulders, women don't. So when you see these girls rocking these big shoulders with no hips, an Adonis belt, which you cannot achieve through going to the gym, the belly button is in the wrong place, and they've got a long ring finger that is longer than their pointy finger, and they've got now they can shave the brow ridge down and all this shit now. There's a good possibility that these girls are not girls, and it's actually a criminal offence to, as we've said before, to gain public support, finances and everything by pertaining that you are somebody that you are not. And what was quite funny was there was a couple of comments, and of course, sorry girls, it was from girls, and one of them said, "And what are you doing for humanity, Martin?" Well, he's pointing out that you're being lied to, my dear. And then another person said, "There's no way that the Wilson sisters from Heart are a couple of dudes, because her cousin worked with them." Well, a guy I know works with Cher. I'm sure he's never put his hand down Cher's pants to find out what's going on. So that is one of the stupidest statements as well, because you would never know unless you were directly connected to these people, whether they were or they weren't.
Yeah.
And again, as I've said many times, I don't have any problems with black people, Asian people, Arab people, gay people, people who want to have their bits chopped off and dress as women, and women who want to dress as men. I don't have a problem with you. What I have a problem with is people who are dishonest and who use their position to influence young people, and these so-called popsters, and it's mainly the popsters, they are influencing your daughters, right? That's as far as it goes. Right? Mm-hmm. So I wanted to end it on that, and I did think that that was a great picture to end it on. And hopefully that little prick in the middle at some point is going to get his comeuppance, or her comeuppance, along with the rest of them, because they're all part of the same club.
They all know what's going on.
Of course they do.
Yeah.
Of course they do. Look at them. I don't think, maybe old Twatty at the end on the left, but the rest of them couldn't knock the skin off a fucking rice pudding if their lives depended on it. Especially that fat fuck there with a purple tie and a prick at the end. Anyway, that's about it, guys. I think that's about it, and I think we covered everything, didn't we?
Did we? I hope we did.
I don't think there was anything else, was there?
No, I don't think
a bit
so.
ranty, I know it's a bit ranty, but we've had a bit of a week of it, and Mum's had to put up with me, but I don't often see my mum getting, not irate, but allowing this to, but it has been a fuck of a week. And as I've said, if you know a pilot, you just ask him the question, what the fuck do you people think you're doing? And if he gives you the wrong answer, just kick him in the balls. That's all I can say.
Well, we hope for a better week ahead, because the forecast is for sunshine.
Yeah, we got a good forecast for the week.
Skies. Well, let's see.
Yeah, let's see.
Let's see what happens.
But, you know, wherever you guys are, and we've had a few comments from around the realm, this constant drone. And I'm a drummer. For crying out loud, I'm used to noise. I don't make noise if people are around. I don't practice when my neighbours are in, because I've got respect for them. This constant drone above your head it's all done as part of this drive everybody bonkers.
Well, they're doing a pretty good job.
They're doing a pretty good job, because if I was a really, really nasty bastard, I'd probably be in jail right now, because there's a few people that I would like to go out and deal with, and we've got the next generation of Gen Z knobheads. These blokes, when we moved here, who were like 8, who are now like in their mid-20s, who now discovered dirt bikes. So now we've got fucking dirt bikes racing up and down the road, you know. I'm quite tempted to get my crossbow out, but there you go. Anyway, guys, that's about it. We just thought we'd give you a little bit of a what's it here, and for those that listen, and I know we do get a few people listening, we really appreciate it. And like we said, you know, it's all about getting that information out there, and maybe like old Serge did, he turned ahead a mate of his, and his mate is looking at things in a totally different way now.
It only needs 1 or 2 people to
That's all it needs.
to
You're never going to change anything
look
here.
into it.
This is about, you know, like Matt says, this is about being here, getting on with it, learning, saying what you think, and then getting the fuck out of here. And that's what it's about. And that's why we're not, you know, it doesn't worry us. We're not frightened of dying or anything, or passing over or anything like that.
No.
And we certainly don't want to come back either. So there you go.
Oh,
Anyway,
not to this world. God. No.
not to this lot. Anyway, just think about your kids. That's the most important thing. Think about your kids and what is going on.
Have a good week.
Have a good week. Thanks, Mum, for putting up with me.